somebody told me to read. I haven't read it yet, but somebody told me about a Willie Lynch letter or something, and they said
Mhm.
that could be the reason. It's like a curse that had been over black people, and that's what's causing us to not want to like intermingle, or we don't have any compatibility, or we like just hateful towards each other. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to read it to get more
I
context, but
love how you spin the block. Okay, just tap me on the shoulder. Did you read it yet?
nah. I said I'm gonna read it to get more context to figure out like what caused it or whatever.
man. I'm gonna just be the oddball and say, man, fuck that Willie Lynch letter. We know what the problem is. We see that it's our community. We see that it's our culture. This the problem is directly in front of us, and so is the solution. We can talk about this Willie Lynch letter for God knows how long, and we've been talking about it. I'm me personally, I'm 37. Let me finish, Kenny. I'm 37. For at least since I was 8, I've been hearing about this Willie Lynch letter. So if this is something that we've been acknowledging for this long and we haven't been able to overcome it, man, fuck that letter. We see what the problem is. Let's address it. Let's get our community back together. Let's bring back the value. See, the problem is that we don't have any value for the culture, for the community. There's no longer a value of family. There's no longer a value of the holy trinity of man, woman, and child. So of course that is going to happen. And it's not going to change until we change that. And we have to be proactive at it by making the better solutions and better choices in what it is that we give our energy to. And that's just my opinion.
Okay, that's it's easy to say F something. When you're diagnosed with something, they have to get down to what it is first. And the trope that they commonly say, and I'm sure all of us know it, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. A lot of people said they heard of the Willie Lynch letter. Can you give me any details since you said F it, what it instructed?
I couldn't even tell you because I've never invested my energy into it.
So that means all that you said was null and void. That was
So
a that
so
was a
be it. But I'm the
that
only one that gave a solution.
that was a blueprint. If you don't know what your ailment is, how are you going to provide a solution? If you tell me my toe hurt and you said rub some shoot some Windex on it, is that fixing it? No,
So
you have to be able to know what you're dealing with
Why?
and then build up from that point. The Willie
so
Lynch, if you want to know, I will tell you. It is a blueprint of how they got West Indian slave owners to come and teach the slave owners on the US continent how to better subjugate their slaves. And the premise goes on till these days, because we never got healing. We never sat down as a group and clinically diagnose what we're going through. There's a lot. I'm not saying that we can use it as a crutch, because there's many that are higher thinkers that have been put in positions that are far away from it. But on a whole, the community is not healed. Because
so
you ever heard the term misery likes company?
so
You
Kenny.
you've been in,
So
hold on, let me
I've
get it
heard,
out.
I've heard that term.
Okay. If you've been in a group of blacks in urban society, how I grew up, the day you have a nickel more than them, a pair of Jordans that they can't have, and it's just sad to say they're gonna hate on you, probably rob you for them,
Yeah.
instead of congratulate you. In this life, we're taught to look down on those that work that much harder and they don't understand the catalyst of where that comes from. You have to know the blueprint of why blacks hate blacks, why we commit crimes because of uh, vicinity.
You
And
you
that
you
doesn't happen on a whole if you did the research with whites,
so
even though they
Kenny.
commit more crimes. But if you did
So
it per person, You don't see that. Why do you see pissy elevators and bottles broken and crack vials and liquor stores next to gun shops in our environments, and you don't see it in their rural environments? This is
So
all part of that blueprint.
So I'm not sure if you didn't hear me, so I'll say it again. Simply is that there's no value amongst our own selves. So once we begin to value ourselves, that Willie Lynch letter won't matter. That's
Okay.
that's
Can you show us?
Again,
Can you tell us
It's
what
it's
value looks
deeper
like?
than that.
Can you tell us
It's
what
deeper than that. It's
it's
deeper than
it's,
that.
it's
if you
deeper than
cannot
us
see yourself
valuing.
as something, if you
So
cannot see, many don't have the fundamentals because the mental subjugation that you got put in, buck breaking, you realize that you're still getting buck breaked today, but not as a large scale as it is before. It's just as more publicized that you have
Oh,
media. You would
And
say pause
Kenny,
slow.
no, but what I want to know is,
Kenny,
go
and
ahead.
they have refined. They have literally refined this playbook and adopted it to modern times and modern advertising. And, they got Sambos and whatnot that just bend over and twerk now, and sell you other stuff. They got those type of people that are supposed to be that people look up to or people worship or people download their music or download their videos, and all they're doing is polluting the minds of the next generation, the younger young girls that are coming up, the younger boys that are coming up now. It just gets a continuous cycle on and on and on, but it's not as hands-on as it used to be. It's not as blatant as it used to be, but it's pushing us enough in our subconscious mind to put it in our face so we see it over and over and over again until we just eventually decide to conform. It's a different
Reciprocal
way of
determinism.
subjugation.
Yeah.
It's a different form of subjugation. It's a different form of control that's even on YouTube, that's even on our laptops and our iPads today. You just got to know what you're looking at when you're looking at it. And us as grown ass men, that I would like to think that are a higher level of thinking, may recognize it off bat. But then there's most younger people, which is their target audience, that won't understand what they're looking at. And when they do look at it, they think that's just the way of the world. That's how the world's supposed to be because that's what's being marketed to me.
So fellas, if and to directly piggyback off of that, right? If we are supposed to be sharing with the younger generation how not to fall victim to that. Literally what I just heard from what I stated is literally excuses. If we're creating the excuses and we're regurgitating the excuses, what at what point, if the younger generation has this already up against them and we're not even giving them an inch of hope of saying fuck the Willie Lynch letter, we can do this, we can pull out of this, we have to value ourselves. Once we value ourselves, that is the shift. I just don't understand how, like, we if we want to see a change, we have to imply the change. If
Well,
we just
you gotta know what it is first,
we
Viz.
know what it
You gotta
is,
know
bro.
you no no you just
Kenny just
you
How
didn't
do you
read the
said
know what
the
it
letter.
nigga
is
No,
letter
if
you
you
didn't
is
said
even
you
read the
heard?
letter, Viz. You
I
didn't
Okay,
don't
read
be
the
need to
letter.
mad.
You
read
don't
the
even know
Be
letter,
what it
mad.
bro.
is.
I
Exactly.
don't
That
need
makes
to
you.
read the
That makes
letter,
So
you a
bro.
how you
hypocrite.
gonna say
How you gonna
how you
say
gonna say
f
fuck the
something if you
letter
Because
if
and
you
you
don't
don't
know
know
the
what's in it?
context?
You guys, listen. Okay,
why do I have to read the letter
but
for
we
something that I see every day?
Viz is right.
Yeah, I
Listen, we
understand.
know. Okay,
I,
first
Like,
of
come
all,
on, man.
the Willie Lynch letter is fake. Okay, if you guys don't know it, I studied it. I took Black Studies in college. The letter is fake in and of
No, it's
itself. For those
not.
that
No,
don't
it's
know,
not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
We
It's not that because I
look
studied the same thing. No, it's not.
look
You know
at
what
the
I'm
Kenny.
saying?
power that you're
I
giving me,
can go
Kenny.
to the document. I know which one you're talking about. The construct for buck breaking slaves, which they use the term Willie Lynch. They have a different text for it. Nah, from the West Indian slave owners. I will find it and send it to you.
Okay,
It is
find it and
not
send it to
fake.
me, because the
All right.
Willie Lynch letter, as we know it, it was never discovered. It was never found. It just appeared on the internet around 2001. Nobody did. The Willie Lynch letter wasn't even a letter that anybody talked about in the 90s or the 80s. I was there. The letter has words that's in it. If I recall, I think the word indoctrination, that word wasn't even used for another 100 years, because the Willie Lynch letter it was written in this quote, was supposed to have been written in the 1700s. We didn't even use words like indoctrination until the 1800s. And I think another word was program, and maybe 2 other words in there. But find what you're going to look for, because, you know, remember Dr. Karanga, the inventor of Kwanzaa, he's my teacher. He's right around the corner. He'll tell you, and he taught me in 1999. Well, I graduated in 2000, but he taught me that the Willie Lynch letter is fake. I looked it up and did research on it and found it was fake. But that's not the point. See, the reality
the principles,
is
the principles.
whether thank you.
It's
Whether
about
it's
the
fake
principles.
or real, you got to understand what it's talking about. The lights versus the darks, the house nigga versus the field nigga, and all that kind of stuff. That's what's written in the and it's basically the letter is a divide and conquer letter, Viz. That's what it is. And so what Kenny's trying to say is we got to understand what the letter is trying to explain, whether it's fake or real. We got to understand what it's trying to explain, and before we can talk about saying fuck that
Solutions.
Letter and fix things. But here's the thing, back to where I'm with Viz, is we do know what the issue is. And this whole discussion that we're talking about right now is, how do we get, because I think Darwin that said, okay, we know what the fucking problem is. We beat this horse, and we've had thousands of panel discussions every week, every night on what the issue is. Where's the fucking solution? If fatherlessness, because this is from the podcast with Umar and Nick Cannon, if fatherlessness is where the root of the issue is, then what do we got to do to get fathers back in the home? So divide and conquer, that could be part of it. You know, the light skin, you got niggas over there laughing at light skin niggas. Oh, the light skin dudes is winning, or the dark skin dudes is winning. The tall guys is winning, and they getting all the girls, and the short guys ain't getting nothing. That's the whole Willie Lynch thing. But here's the thing: to get men back in the families and back in the homes, it needs to be incentivized for him to be there. That's my solution. My Shannon solution is, what is it going to be a comfortable place for a man to be? Is whether it's with a woman and he's creating his own child, or whether it's with a woman with child and he's coming in and taking care of them, as a stepfather. Are these homes a place of solace for a man to go out and work and come home to that family and be peaceful and be happy and want to be there?
Yeah.
Or is he going to be out in the world, in a chaotic world, and then come to a chaotic home? And who can make a home fucked up and chaotic, or make it a peaceful place? And that's where Shan and my red pill theologies and all that bullshit comes in. It's ladies. If you want, you can't sit around here and get mad at men. And that's why because I think Marcus asked, he said, Shan, well, he said, guys, how many men are out there available that can cover and take care? I say a lot of men can. Why would they want to? The question is, I think a lot of them can. Why would they want to? When they're pressed up against so many different expectations and requirements, and then when they meet those requirements, the goalpost is moved, and now they got to make, $100,000 ain't enough now. Now you got to make 150, 200,000. You got to have all these things. You
gotta be fucking Superman at this point.
Incentive?
A lot of that shit. Yeah.
Where's the incentive for JR? Where's the incentive for JR to turn around and get married today? Where's the incentive for Kenny to lock down a woman and her child from another man, for Kenny P in Brooklyn to go take that woman and cover her and protect her and problem solve for her and her child? What does Kenny P get out of that? That's the solution. If women can make it a place where it's great for men to want to be there, then men will come in droves. But men are now starting to see, well, I don't know, doesn't seem like a good place for me to be. I think being at home playing 2K, in my house full of IKEA furniture is just fine. And
no, I agree with you, Trev, Shan, but at the same time, I think that we as men have to take that first step. Like we can expect for the women to do it. We can hope for the women to do it, but there's no promise that they would. So as men, and
we should gamble.
Say it again.
We should take that gamble. You said men should take that first step. So you're saying men should just gamble it and just hope that she jumps in line.
Well, I'm saying when you get in a relationship with any woman or any person, you're taking somewhat of a gamble, just to be honest. But I think that if that's what it takes, then, and if you want something different, then shit, yeah, that's what life is. You got to take a gamble.